Ki sokyokiet ka pineskech. Ho sokel kokani now san mietki. Ho sokel kokani now san mietki. Good day, everyone. I'm really happy to be here today. Very pleased to be here, and I'm just very grateful to Dawn and the Ktunaxa community for inviting me up here today to share a story with you. And Pharaoh, I just wanted to let you know it's Bonnie and Randy Harvey. And so yeah, how about a great big round of applause for that meal? That was awesome. Thank you to those two. And so Pharaoh introduced that I would be sharing the creation story today, and I've actually decided to share what I'm going to call a story from our creation canon. This is an old Ktunaxa story that was shared with me probably something like 30 years ago, and maybe even a little longer than that. It was the mid-1990s, and it was the May long weekend. I got a phone call from an elder of ours who's no longer with us. We knew him as Ktunaxa. His English name was Wilfred Jacobs. And it was just the day before, so the Friday, the day before the May long weekend, and the Yakanuki powwow. Our sister community, Yakanuki, had just started hosting this powwow that now they still host. They've been hosting it for 30 some odd years. But this was one of the first couple of years that they actually hosted this powwow, this May long weekend back in the 1990s. Wilfred called me and he asked me, "Are you going to the powwow tomorrow, Joe?" "Yes, I am, Wilfred." "Oh, good, good, good. Would you stop over at my house before you go to the powwow?" "Okay, Wilfred, I'll make sure I come over at least an hour early." Good, 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 good. So I got to Wilfred's place the next day, and he was happy to see me. He had something for me, and he handed me a piece of paper, and on it there was a story written out. He asked me to give it a quick read, so I did. And he asked me, "Have you ever heard this story before?" And I said, "Wilfred, no, I haven't. This is my first time seeing this. It's a great story. I love this story." And he said, "Well, would you be comfortable telling the story today at the powwow?" "Of course, absolutely I will." And he told me, he said, "I've got the drum group ready to drum and sing the song that goes with this story. So when you finish telling the story, the drum group will drum and they'll sing." And he said, "And I'm going to dance the dance that goes with this story." "Okay, Wilfred." And I told him, I said, "You know, I'm going to need a little bit of time with this paper here. I need to get it up here and get it into here." And so I spent some time with that paper. When we got to the powwow, it came time for me to tell the story. The way that Wilfred had this story written down is that he said that this is an old story, and that at the start of this story, the Ktunaxa are engaged in a battle with an enemy. And I say it in that way because that's exactly the way he had it printed out on that page. He had an enemy. But the thing about this battle is that the Ktunaxa and the people that they were battling against had come to a standstill. They weren't able to move. There was just kind of a stalemate happening between the Ktunaxa and those that they were battling against. And so they had kind of, fortified their positions and were basically just sitting on the line looking at each other. And then this one morning, this one young Ktunaxa warrior goes to the Ktunaxa Nasukin, This is what we call our war chief. Ktunaxa. And this young warrior says to the war chief, I've had a dream, and I think I have something. I think I know a way to break through. I think I know a way towards victory. And that war chief said, oh, tell me. Shares his dream with him. And the war chief says, well, you go and you do what you've dreamt. You go ahead. I will have the warriors ready and watching. And if you are successful, we will back you up. And so that warrior said, okay. And he got himself ready, smoked himself, and armed himself simply with a spear. And he started to move towards that enemy fortification. And on his way, as he starts to move towards the enemy, he starts to sing a song. And he starts to dance while he's singing that song. And he's moving in that dancing kind of way, singing that song, making his way towards the enemy. And the enemy, they can't believe their eyes. There's one single warrior coming towards them. They're thinking, is he crazy? What is that? What is he thinking? Well, they all get out their bows and arrows. They all load their bows and arrows and they take aim. And they let fly a volley of arrows. And I'm going to let you know that that's exactly the way Wilfred had it written on the page. They let fly a volley of arrows. And when that warrior sees those arrows coming towards him, he stops singing, he stops dancing, he puts his spear down on the ground in front of him, and he leans down, kneels down behind that spear, and whoosh! All of those arrows miss him. He's not hit at all. And so once those arrows hit the ground, he jumps back up and he starts singing again and he starts dancing again. But this time he's singing louder and stronger, dancing faster, moving towards the enemy. The enemy, they can't believe. Not a single one of them hit him. And so they decide, let's do it again. They load up their arrows, they take aim, and they let fly a volley of arrows. And once again, that warrior, he stops singing. Spear down in the ground in front of him. And he kneels down behind his spear. Whoosh! The arrows miss him a second time. That warrior, he's back up on his feet right away. Now he's singing at the top of his lungs, and he's dancing and moving as quick as he can. And those enemy warriors realize they only have one more chance, one more try. And so they load up their arrows again, and they take their last third shot. Stops singing, spear in the ground, kneels down. Whoosh! The arrows miss him that third time. Now that warrior gets up, and he's right there. He breaks through the enemy's fortification. And he starts to battle with the enemy. And right then, the Ktunaxa war chief, Ktunaxa, realizes, now is the time. Come on, all of you, up, let's go. And they race across the field. And they join into the battle with that first warrior. And a battle ensues. And while they're fighting, while they're battling, that first warrior that had gone in by himself, when he's battling against those enemy, and he sticks his spear into one of the enemy, he takes that spear and he licks the blood off that spear, and he raises the spear above his head and he yells out, "Ktunaxa! Ktunaxa!" And as he continues to battle, each time he's successful in killing one of the enemy, he takes his spear from the enemy and he licks the blood and he raises it up and he yells out, "Ktunaxa! Ktunaxa!" Wilfred told me that this story reminds us, Ktunaxa, that is the meaning of that word, Ktunaxa, we lick the spear of our enemy, or we lick the blood of our enemy off our spear, is the translation for Ktunaxa. It's the understanding of the word Ktunaxa. And as soon as I finished telling that story, sure enough, just like Wilford said, Moose and the drum group, they start drumming right away, and they start singing the song. Wilford gets up from where he's sitting, and he starts dancing. I used to love watching that old man dance. I used to love his regalia, the way he made his regalia. Wilford was a proud veteran, and he wore his Canadian Army helmet as part of his regalia because he was such a proud veteran. It was a part of his regalia. Wilford actually had buffalo horns attached to that Canadian Army helmet of his, because his Ktunaxa name, Ktunaxa, translates to buffalo bullhead. And whenever he danced, part of his regalia was a spear. He always danced with that spear of his. And he got up and he started to dance. Moose and the rest of the drummers were singing that song, and he danced the dance. And partway through that song, the drummers, they all just stopped drumming, stopped singing, and Wilford would go down with his spear. And then they would start drumming again. Wilford would stand up, continue dancing, and people could see the story now in what Wilford was doing. A second time they'd stop drumming. He'd go down. Now Wilford, as one of his props for this dance, he used to always have a coffee can. And he would use that coffee can as his target. And he would dance, and you would see him break through. And eventually, by the end of that song, Wilford would be placing his spear and taking it out of that coffee can and making that licking motion. And I remember when he was doing that, when he was dancing, people were watching, and they were right on the edge of their seats, and they watched Wilford lick his spear. And as he went to raise it up, that entire gymnasium, every single person that had gathered there for that powwow yelled out, "Ktunaxa! Ktunaxa!" As soon as he raised up his spear, everybody, "Ktunaxa!" Wilford wanted to make sure that the next generation understood and knew what our Ktunaxa, what our name means. I'm so glad to this very day, I'm so very glad that May long weekend back in the 1990s, I was just in my 20s. I'm so glad that Wilford entrusted that story with me. And I'm so very glad that I'm getting this opportunity today to share the story with you. The nature of storytelling. I know that I've put it out there. And I know that one or two of you, maybe even more, are going to share the story again. I'm asking you to. I've given you a present. I know this is the nature of storytelling. You young ones that are here today, I'm hoping that 20, 30 years from now, you'll be the ones here on this mic sharing this story. Ktunaxa! Everybody, nice and loud. Ktunaxa! Come on, one more time. Ktunaxa! Yeah, that's what we're doing today. We've come into Invermere to yell our name and put up our flag. We are Ktunaxa. And I'm so glad that you've made the choice to come here and join us today. One more time. Ktunaxa! Yeah. Thank you very much for giving me a few moments to share with you today. Oh yes, dachas.
our KNC Nation Chair, Ktunaxa, give us some remarks.
I'm shorter than you, so.
I got you.
And I'm glad I'm not after Joe.
How about that?
That's
Okay.
Gisukyokiet kapiniskil. Husukit now san mietki. Good day to each and every one of you, and I'm really happy to be here. And thank goodness that the sun is shining. I think it came out at the right time when we established the presence of the Ktunaxa people and the Kiskanook community in these confines of Invermere. And I want to thank Nasuk and Pierre for his story, because I think it's very timely, and it was an important reminder to all of us that this was and is Ktunaxa homeland, Amakis Ktunaxa, and it's where we've been for thousands and thousands of years. And the fact that here we are in the 21st century, getting into a place where we are entering into different kind of arrangements between and amongst ourselves, so that we can work together and we can prosper together. And I'm looking forward to watching this development as it unfolds, because I think it's extremely important that we recognize that as neighbors, that we can do things together, and we can all be successful. And the fact that we are working in this country on paving the path to reconciliation, that this is an important step that is occurring here in our homeland. And I hope that all of you will take the time to interact with each other at events like this, and just in general, and hopefully that you will share some of the things that you've heard today and begin to work on changing the narrative in this country, so that we can indeed have a different kind of a relationship between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people in Canada. And I believe that here in Amakis Ktunaxa, that we can lead the way, and we can make it happen. And it's through undertakings such as we're gathered here today that it's going to be able to make that difference. So I want to thank you very much and say congratulations to the council and the staff from Kiskanook for providing this opportunity for people to gather, and also providing the opportunity to demonstrate that we indeed can live together as neighbors, and we can do things together, and we can all be successful. So thank you very much.
Here, Catherine. For you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next, we have Nasukin Joe Pierre.
Thanks, Pharaoh. One more time. Ktunaxa! Come on, you can do better than that. Ktunaxa! Gosh, I'm so glad to be here today. I'm so proud of Kiskanook. I'm so proud, Don, you and your council, what you've been able to do here. And like Catherine said, I'm really interested to watch what happens here over the next while. Really glad to be here today to raise the flag. I'm so happy. Ho sukil kokani now san mietki. I'm happy today. Ho sukil kokani now san mietki. I'm very grateful today. And I want to think about all the other Ktunaxa that are out there today. I'm thinking specifically about my son. I'm thinking about my brother and my sister, my mom, but also all my cousins with a Z, all my Ktunaxa people that are out there this weekend. One of the, getting started for traveling around, getting started for going to powwow. And so I'm just hoping that all of you have a very good weekend this weekend. And I'm so glad that you made the choice to come and start your May long weekend this year with a flag raising and being here with us. Thank you for being here today. One more time. Ktunaxa! Oh yes, tachas.
Thanks, Joe. Here we got a present for you.
Hey, thanks, bro. Thanks, bro.
Thank you. Up next, we have Gurmeet Barar.
Have to lower it a little for me.
No problem.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to introduce Gurmeet. He is the person that made this all happen. He was the previous owner, and we did this transaction together, and I just wanted to make sure he was introduced and everything was put in perspective here. Gurmeet, the floor is yours. Thank you. Thank you. I wasn't expecting to address anyone today, but just as an emergency, I did write something down. I'm glad I did because I'm normally not this nervous, but for some reason today I am. So if you'll allow me to read this, and then maybe I'll tell you a story or two, but you may want me to not tell you stories because they tend to get very lengthy. I'd like to thank you very much for the invitation and opportunity to address all of you wonderful people who are here in attendance despite this inclement weather. Now my paper's made a liar out of me because I don't see any inclement weather. I was expecting it to be raining. Rather than dwell on what a great day, a bit of sunshine and clear skies would have been for this event, they are. Let us look on the bright side of this marvelous gift of rain. I want you to all pretend it's raining. To the peoples of the world, there are many spiritual and symbolic meanings of rain. For today and for this wonderful event, let me say that hopefully the rain is a sign of hope, a sign of cleansing, a sign of strength, of wisdom, of prosperity, of love, of healing, of purification and growth. In a way, albeit ever so small, this is a historic event for our valley, and I have very fortunate to have been able to play a small part in this small step. May it help to bring peace and happiness to all the people to whom this is a home or a wondrous place to visit. Thank you for coming, and may your God smile upon you today, tomorrow, and in the future. And thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Gurmeet. Here, have one.
No stories.
Thank you, Gurmeet. Next, we have Invermere Mayor Al Miller. Yeah.
Thank you, Pharaoh.
No problem. Is this a good out for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, welcome. I Ktunaxa. Come on. Ktunaxa. All right, that's better. Now we're getting there. It is with great pleasure that we, as the District of Invermere, Mayor and Council, all of our management and staff and Public Works team, welcome the Ktunaxa to our beautiful area here within the boundaries of Invermere. I think this is a wonderful deal, a wonderful day to raise the flag here. We love the idea of the shared values. We work hard at that on a daily basis. And now we get to work at it even better. We're together, better together. And so with the shared values, I believe the flag raising in Invermere is going to be such a symbolic event. And we're doing all of this obviously for the future, for future generations to come. And I personally, as mayor, couldn't be happier for this occasion. And certainly, thank you for coming out to be a part of this. And again, on behalf of the District of Invermere, all of us, we truly thank you for buying into our little piece of heaven here right in Invermere and being a part of it and sharing the values. We truly want to share the values with you and be good stewards of the property. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Al. Before we have our local Ktunaxa dignitaries come up, I'd like to invite any of the surrounding community dignitaries. If you want to come up and say anything, we do welcome you. No pressure. Oh, it looks like we got a lot of pressure. Hey, there we go.
That's closer.
First we have Ron. He is the mayor of Golden.
We tried the last name 3 times and he didn't get it, so I gave up on it. I appreciate the opportunity, the invite to be able to be part of this, to share with the neighbors this great event. Thankful for the opportunity to be here on behalf of council of our community, Golden, both municipally and rurally, because we are all just a stone's throw away, and we want to continue to work together. So thank you very much.
Up next we have the mayor of Radium, Mike Gray.
It's great to see so many people out here to celebrate the flag raising today. We, as a local community of the local governments in the Columbia Valley, seem to get along very well, and it's excellent to see that partnership strengthening as the Ktunaxa raise their flag here today, and we look forward to seeing where that goes in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mayors. Up next, we'll have some words from our local government out of Ktunaxa. I think first we'll start with Councillor Janice Alpine. I'll adjust it for you.
Ki so kiokit. Oh, you look all beautiful. I am so happy to see everyone here today. I'm so happy that we can see everybody drive through in and out of Invermere. This is history, and I really appreciate the conversations we've had with our good friend to get the opportunity to put our feet and our footprints back on this area. This is what we want. And I'm really appreciative for the Council of Akiskanook, for the elders that guide us. I like to refer to them as our assets. And to be able to stand here and also thank our staff. Really appreciate the staff for the hard work that has gone into this and for prodding us to move this forward. It was a very fast and furious process. And we don't usually travel that fast when it comes to politics, but we did. And I'm just so grateful that we're able to be here with one another and have this flag raising ceremony as a symbol that we are here. We didn't go anywhere. This is Ktunaxa, and now we can be visible once again. Oh yes, Tajas.
Thank you, Janice. Next, we have Councillor Alan Nicholas.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome. It was a nice turnout. I'd like to thank our meat bar for reconnecting from quite a few years ago. We worked together on Lake Windermere Ambassadors, and I hope to continue working, build a new friendship and relationship there. Speaking with some of the guests, I've found out that are neighbors of ours in Akiskanook, and we have a lot in common, the land we are living on out there, and it's nice to be able to say that we want to work together and develop good friendships and partnerships with everybody. I'd like to thank our drummers, thank our mayors and dignitaries from local communities. But I'd like to thank Akiskanook for finally for following through, taking that step. I brought this to the table years ago and nothing came of it, and now to see it come full circle is great. Thank everybody, the caterers, Randy and Bonnie, great food as usual. And to all the staff, David and his team there did a great job. And look forward to see what the building looks like when it's done. And this won't be the last time that we'll be taking part in presenting and getting together in this area. I think this is a start of a beautiful friendship and relationship with the village of Invermere and the surrounding people. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Next, we have our Akiskanook Nasukin Don Sam.
We can't forget about Council-elect Farrah Burgoyne. Maybe I'll give him an opportunity after I speak to share a couple words. I just got the opportunity to meet Gurmeet, and geez, it seems like we have some in common. I wasn't expecting to say anything, and then well, I did know I was supposed to, but I didn't know what. So I'm not looking on Facebook on my phone. Or checking Instagram pictures that Eldine's putting up. I'm actually got some notes written down. Thank you, everyone, for coming and joining us and celebrating with us. Husukashkukni. Apiak smaknik. Husukashkuknik and wakish. Ksamanushawas. Upchne Akisknoknik Akushishik na Aketshaten Aketshatnam. I was actually talking to Roberta, she's here this morning, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just talk from the heart. And we were laughing around. So if I speak from the heart, it's going to sound like this. Dum, 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 dum. That's not going to work. Maybe I'll write something out. I guess the idea of economic development, I always have to go back to the recognition that Ktunaxa, since time immemorial, have been part of the economic fabric of Amongkas Ktunaxa. Amongkas Ktunaxa that provides us with so much. We all know, as residents of the Columbia Valley, we all know the clean water, the views, the animals, all that we've had. We even had buffalo and salmon at one point. We'll get there, but today we're celebrating this step. Since the establishment of the reserves, other federal and provincial policies and laws like the Indian Act, genocide, and leading to that PTSD that we collectively hold, our people have been hindered from enjoying in that bounty as others have in our backyard. Over the years, we haven't gone anywhere. We've always been still participating, but from a distance. There needs to be a place for everyone, including space for us, Ktunaxa, in our homelands as determined by our Ktunaxa values, history, and people. This marks the time has come. Self-determination is demonstrated in progressive small steps. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's all those small steps. And the magic is being able to recognize those small steps, as we all get to today. Our return and participation in the regional economy is a journey. Matskakpamik. Don't forget that guy over there, that David Thompson. I'm tempted to go off in stories and tell you about when we went up to Rocky Mountain House 200 years ago to fetch David Thompson and some of his fellows from the Northwest Trading Company so that we could get rifles, so that we could... Sorry, I won't go into that story, but it's there, it's at the tip of my tongue. But again, here we are. Today's steps include a visual representation of our contributions and determination and taking place in the regional economic fabric in Amongkas Ktunaxa. You know, over the past years, some of the properties we've looked at acquiring have been reactionary, trying to protect lands and special places. And perhaps that gives a perception or the impression that we're only interested in conservation. Now, conservation is really important as we're taught, but so too is investing in future generations. I can imagine, I can visualize a time when the Ktunaxa are represented, not just from the stretch between Windermere and Fairmont, but throughout Amongkas Ktunaxa. Throughout the region of our people, of our ancestors. Now, the Columbia Valley has a rich Indigenous history. I'm excited to mark today's events as a Ktunaxa signaling our readiness to be partners in the economic development. Our history and culture are not just stamped on, but appreciated and emanating within the economic fabric. That space is being made for us to participate as Ktunaxa and return to prominence and self-determination. Now, I also recognize the many visitors to our region who will continue to appreciate the beautiful amenities we have here, but now also recognizing that even here in the Columbia Valley, Canada is on the lands of Indigenous peoples, tactfully reaffirming Amakas Ktunaxa. And so, thank you everybody for being here, and Gurmeet and I will set up some tables where we can be sharing stories sometime. So, thank you. Next, I'd like to invite up Council-elect Farrah Burgoyne.
I've been speaking into this microphone all day, but now I'm nervous. Thank you, Nasuka and Don Sam. As a newly elected councillor for Akiskanook, I feel absolutely honored to be able to serve my people. I'm also excited, and I'm excited because of events like this and the momentum that our First Nation has. Feels like something to be proud to be a part of. I like to feel the emotion from the fellow councillors and the Nasukan of Akiskanook about this event, because it is a big deal. Like, this is huge for us. This is something that I would have looked up to as a kid or a young teen, and I look up to it now. I believe this is the beginning of a bright future for Akiskanook and Ktunaxa. Takas. Now we are going to actually raise the flag, and we'll do our first. We'll let the ambulance go by. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, now we are going to raise the flag, and Susab Nana, our drum group, we're gonna sing the flag song, and I ask everybody to rise and remove their hats for this, while our Nasukans we got both. Akiskanook Nasukan, Don Sam, and Mayor Al Miller will be doing the flag raising, unless there's anybody else that I'm missing that needs to be doing that. No, that's who we gotta be doing it.
For attending the flag raising ceremony. My name is Rob Thomas, and I'm the General Manager of AFN Enterprises Limited Partnership. AFN Enterprises acts as the economic wing of Akiskanook First Nation. We were officially formed in October 2023, and I'm so grateful to be involved in this venture. First, I want to acknowledge we've got a number of wonderful tenants here, and they allowed us to use the whole parking lot, so thank you to them, so that we could stage such a wonderful ceremony. Now, the purchase of 625 4th Street is one of the first acquisitions for AFN Enterprises, but it is definitely not the last. We will be exploring all of the traditional Ktunaxa territory and beyond to find meaningful investments that bring value and opportunity to Akiskanook First Nation. We strive to find equity opportunities that lead to management and leadership positions for community members, and that will provide growth for generations to come. I look forward to discussing many opportunities with our local business leaders. By raising this flag and opening our office here on this property, we are now saying that we are open for business, and we look forward to contributing to the economic growth in Amakas Ktunaxa. Thank you very much.
I'm David Bach. I'm the CAO of Ktunaxa First Nation and the chair of AFN Enterprises Limited Partnership. Just to wrap it off at the end here, I just want to do some acknowledgements and thank yous for all those that took part to make this event so successful, this momentous event. First off, I'd like to thank the drummers and our MC, Pharaoh, for doing double duty with that. So thank you for the flag song and taking part with the entertainment today. I'd also like to thank all of our dignitaries, our elder Beatrice for starting us off, the Catherine Denise, our KNC chair, the Nasukins, Joe and Donald, the council members that spoke, and our visiting mayor. So thank you all for taking part, for coming today. We very much appreciate it. This is really a celebration for Ktunaxa and Akiskanook, but it's also a celebration for the entire region. So thank you all for joining. I'd like to thank Rob and Gurmeet for all the work that they did in putting the transaction together. It took a lot of work, as I think Janice kind of alluded. It was quite quick how it worked. So thank you guys for all the hard work on that part, and for Gurmeet for being such a great partner on the transaction. So thank you for that. I'd like to thank Ktunaxa Nation Council in general for being here. I think there were some booths here where they were talking, had some pictures up, some depictions of Amakas Ktunaxa, so thank you for that. And then finally, I'd like to, I guess second last, I'd like to thank all of our staff, the AFN staff here. Some of them are in these shirts here, but Public Works and all the different groups for all the planning, setting us up, the tents, keeping us dry, so thank you to them. And then finally, just for everybody for being here. I think it's a great moment for Akiskanook for sure, for the Ktunaxa Nation, for Invermere. So I thank you all for being here to commemorate that moment. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, David. That does conclude our events for this evening. Everybody is welcome to stick around till around 6 while we slowly take down everything. Everyone has a chance to visit and socialize. Other than that, get home safe and enjoy the long weekend. And one more time, I want to try one. Ktunaxa! Hey.